ونستهديه ونسترضيه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف عنها الغمة فاللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد ملء السماوات وصل وسلم وزد وبارك على سيدنا محمد ملء الأرضين وصل وسلم وزد وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا وأسوتنا وإمامنا محمد ملء ما بين السماوات والأرضين. اللهم صل عليه صلاة دائمة مستمرة غير منقطعة إلى يوم الدين مصداقا لقوله سبحانه وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. وبعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله عز وجل وإن خير الهدي هدي محمد بن عبد الله وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وإن كل بدعة ضلالة ألا وإن كل ضلالة في النار. فاتقوا الله عباد الله حق التقوى مصداقا لقول الله عز وجل يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. Dear brothers and sisters, I bear witness there is no deity worth of worshipping except for Allah, God, capital G, the one and the only. I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a seal of messengers and prophets. I bear witness that we love Moses and we love Jesus and we love Muhammad. We love all the prophets. لا نفرق بين أحد منهم. We believe in the Torah that was revealed to Moses, the slates and the tablets that been revealed to Ibrahim, as well as we believe in the Injil, which is translated Bible, that was revealed to Jesus. And we do believe that the Quran, which the book that has been sent to Muhammad, was to complement the series of sequential articulation between the first flag taker, who was Adam, who gave it to Noah, and then it's been passed on to Abraham and all his progeny, and then came to Moses, and the Israelites went astray. And there is someone that came to get them back to the right track. That one of the mightiest messengers, his name is Jesus. In Arabic, his name is Isa. And he is in Aramaic, Yesur. And then there was 600 years after Jesus, peace of God be upon him. The world was in a very quite disturbed situation. with the two empire of Ar-Rum and Al-Furs, and people was kind of lost. 600 years after Allah Azza wa Jal lifted up Jesus, peace of God be upon him, and the world was waiting for someone. This someone is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is no other prophet will come after Muhammad according to the Islamic theology. It's been 1400 years, something, and nobody came. A lot of people claimed that they are prophets. But in Quran, in our Quran that we recite, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khatam al-Anbiya wal-Mursaleen. He is the seal of the prophets. He is the last flag taker to guide the humanity. Each of those prophets was sent to his own nation, to his own people. But since Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was or is the seal of the prophets, that means he's not only sent to us as Muslims. Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us in Surah 21, verse 99, Surah Al-Anbiya, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We didn't send you except for a mercy for all. You may think those alameen would be only human beings. Nay, it's for everybody, even the trees, stars, and all the mawjudat, all the surroundings. It was 570, according to the most authentic historian recounting of the birth of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This year, they call it Aam al-Fil, Aam al-Fil, the year of the elephant. And Allah Azza wa Jal revealed the whole surah in the Quran, surah number 105. أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. Didn't you consider what your Lord did with the companions of the elephant? أَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ كَيْدَهُمْ فِي تَضْلِيلٍ. Didn't he make the planning failed? وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ. And Allah Azza wa Jal sent them tons, flocks of birds. تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. There was stones made of clay out of Jahannam, out of that, were thrown on them. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. And that made them like dry straws on the floor, on the ground next to the Kaaba. We are in the month of Rabi' al-Awwal. And this month is a very special month for us as a Muslim Ummah. Because there are so many events that happen during this month. We're not sure that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was born during this month. Actually, there is no agreement between scholars that it was Rabi' al-Awwal. Some say Sha'ban, some would say Ramadan. But we're sure it was Monday. Because when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, according to the authentic narration, when he was asked, why do you fast Mondays? It's a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to fast Mondays and Thursdays. So when he said, when he was asked, why do you fast on Monday? He said, ذَاكَ يَوْمٌ وُلِدْتُ فِيهِ. So we know for sure, because of this authentic narration, that was Monday. Yet we're not sure, or the scholars are not sure, which months that he was born. And you can go to Ibn Abd al-Barr and Ibn al-Athir and check this out. So some people said it's the 9th of Rabi' al-Awwal, of this month that we are in now. And some said it's the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Believe it or not, the weakest calculations is the 12th, which happen to be the people are kind of taking it as the birthday of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad was not a prophet until he was 40. He didn't know that he's going to be a prophet until Jibreel came with Iqra في ليلة القدر in Ramadan. So they didn't really care to documents. And Rasulullah ﷺ never did say, people, yes, let's gather in the masjid to celebrate my birthday. He didn't do that. Neither did the Sahaba. The first 100 years, the second 100 years, maybe the third 100 years. So the Sahaba, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq didn't ask people to do anything for that day. Umar didn't, Uthman didn't, Ali didn't, Muawiyah didn't. It just happened in the Fatimi era. I shouldn't have said Fatimi, it's Ubaydiyyin. So generalizing here is not a good thing to do. We cannot generalize. So Al-Ubaydiyyun who ruled Egypt, they made this happen and something that every year they have to prepare for the birthday of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And unfortunately, we see things around that ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان. Allah Azza wa Jal did not reveal to us. العبادة توقيفية لا عبادة إلا بنص. هذه قاعدة فقهية. I cannot make 6 times to pray, only 5 times. Voluntarily you can pray as many rak'ahs as you like. But you cannot make an extra ijtihad when you feel happy and pray Maghrib 5 rak'ahs instead of 3. You're not entitled to that. There must be a nas. There must be do it or not to do it. That's a nas. فَلَا عِبَادَةَ إِلَّا بِنَص. Unfortunately, some people made this the ibadah, made it like a worship to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And they came up with tons of practices that actually, I dare say, it takes you out of Islam sometimes. Some people are in the middle, and some people are very extremes. And I do remember clearly when I was in Egypt that we had a masjid downtown that they pray I don't know how many rak'ahs and they recite Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad 1,000 times. And I mean, you may ask, what's wrong with reading Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad 1,000 times? The wrong is you don't make it ibadah that pertinent to that day. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. So our deen is complete by the death of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We cannot invent. That's why we only have one book. This book. We don't have any other version of this book. And when you read to pray, you pray reading this book. If you look at the other inscription, that it was written in some different. The Bible, for example, was written in Aramaic, correct? And it was translated, Old Hebrew. And then it was translated to English. You have James version, and then you have the older version. And you got, which one? Luke or Mark or Matthew, what? And the bottom line is we cannot invent things as an ummah.
Is it okay to feel great about this day? Yes, it is okay. And let me tell you something that is certain, with a unanimous agreement between scholars. Monday is the day that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. And it is the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal. Note taken. So, if you're not positive, this is the day that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born in or on, then you are sure the historian with very clear evidence, because he became, when he died, he lived 63 years, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we know when he died. And just add icing on the cake, people come with so many different practices that Allah Azza wa Jal would not. If Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is around, he would not be happy with it. So, as I said, al-ibadat tawqifiyya, and we cannot come up with our own ways of how to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. We need to follow the rules. One of the arguments which people think it is valid, and I kind of disagree from an academic point of view, researching point of view. They said when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Medina, he found the Jews fasting. And when he asked them, why are you fasting today? They said, this is the day that Allah Azza wa Jal saved Moses from the Pharaoh. So we're celebrating the legacy of Moses by fasting that day. And he said, نحن أحق بموسى منهم. So he said, Moses is my brother. It's like Jesus is my brother. So he asked people to fast that day to celebrate the legacy of Moses overcoming the Pharaoh. And he asked the people that was not fasting not to eat until Maghrib the rest of the day. But this is what Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did. Al-qiyas غير معقول. So when you like, qiyas means analogy. You base something upon something else. But we assume that he did that so we can do that. He is the Prophet. His action is tashri'ah. His words is tashri'ah. Whatever the Sahaba did in front of him and he approved is tashri'ah, is legislation for the whole ummah. So who am I to come up with something that the Sahaba, are we saying that the Sahaba didn't love Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So that's why they didn't do it? Umar didn't do it? Nobody loved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as much as the Sahaba did. Don't claim. Don't even think about it. Don't get there. Because the way, throughout the history, and I have tons of evidences, I can prove it through the history of the Muslim Ummah with the Sahaba. We can say, we love Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there are two ways to celebrate that if you'd like to celebrate. It's not one day a year. It's not because this month is the month of his birth. But you carry the action of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be a lifestyle of yours. Be a better husband like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And sometimes you go out and people, dressed so nicely and people, but nobody can just cover up from his own life. Your wife will figure it out. So when they asked his wife about his behavior inside the house, she said, كان خلقه القرآن. His behavior was Quran. كان قرآنا يمشي على الأرض صلى الله عليه وسلم. Was a walking Quran. He talks or walks his talks. It's not a lip service. It's not. He was a good neighbor. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
He was a good leader, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was a good father, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was a good thinker, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I would love to take one khutbah to speak about, inshallah, what the enemies of Muhammad said about him. Because the best legacy is what you're getting from your own enemy. The people didn't believe in Muhammad, but they said, you know what? When Hercules talked to Muawiyah, and he asked him, I heard about some man in your country where you live. His name is Muhammad, and he is claiming that he is a prophet that was sent after Jesus with some book called Quran. He's asking people to leave all this idolatry, and they can pray, and they have to worship one God, and one God only. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. With no son, no daughter, no uncle, no grandma, nothing. Tell me about him. Muawiyah was not a Muslim. Actually, he was a very bitter enemy of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam back then. But in the old time, lying was not a given option. They don't lie. There is nothing. No. If you lie and people know that, that's a big problem. So he asked him, what did he lie to you guys? He said, no, actually, the nickname for him is As-Sadiq Al-Amin, the truthful and the honest. He never lied, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His action reflect his behavior, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he asked him, who are following him? Who are the followers of Muhammad? The rich or the poor? He said the poor. He said, are they increasing or decreasing? He said, no, they're increasing. He said, this man is going to take the ground under my feet if what you're telling me is the truth. Sallu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Inshallah, we'll take one khutbah to talk about what enemies said about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, brothers and sisters, if you'd like to celebrate the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it's not one day a year. Do as Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was highly elevated by God when he said, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ, and we raise your legacy. His name was Muhammad. And what is Muhammad? The one who was being thanked one time after another. من الفعل حامدة. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the most common name in the world. Number one. Go ahead and Google it if you're not sure. زكاه ربه في عقله حين قال وما ينطق عن الهوى. Allah Azza wa Jal purified his brain, and he said he is not talking out of inclination, out of what he likes and what he does not like. زكاه في لسانه وما ينطق عن الهوى. زكاه في بصره, he purified in his sight, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he said ما زاغ البصر ما زاغ البصر وما طغى. Surah Al-Najm, Surah 53, verse number 17. The sight did not go astray, never transgress, never. زكاه في صدره فقال ألم نشرح لك صدرك. He purified him in his chest, in his breast, and he said, didn't we expand your chest to to get the revelation of God. Allah Azza wa Jal زكاه في فؤاده وقلبه صلى الله عليه وسلم. And he said, ما كذب الفؤاد ما رأى. رفع له ذكره. And he left his burden. He said, ألم نشرح لك صدرك ورفعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك. He left this burden from upon his shoulder so we can free him for the mission that he's been sent for, of taking the people, the whole human being, from the ظلمات to النور, ليخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور. And interestingly, Allah Azza wa Jal make the word ظلمات plural. ظلمة and ظلمة and ظلمة means darkness with S plural. But he said nur because هو نور من الله. He is the light from heavens that took the flag as a last messenger and prophet of Allah Azza wa Jal to carry the message of his brother Jesus and his brother Ibrahim and his brother Moses. صلوا عليه اللهم صل وسلم. زكاه كله وقال ورفعنا لك ذكرك. So we mention him in the 21st century now. And every time we mention him, what do you say? What do you say? عليه الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك. Because his God said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن الله وملائكته, Allah, the creator, the sustainer, the one and the only, and his angels are praying, sending their prayers for Muhammad. That was enough for me to know that I need to do that. If Allah is doing that, it's better for me to do that. But Allah didn't leave it there. A direct order. Amr mubashir. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. Oh, who you believe. صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. من صلى على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رفعه الله 10 درجاته وحط عنه 10 سيئاته. And remind people to say that. The cheap person, according to the authentication, Hadith Tabari, is to listen to the name Muhammad and he does not say alayhi salatu wasalam. Because Muhammad, our prophet, who taught us love, and who taught us how to be nice human beings with everyone, with even the tree, with the food, with your wife, with your kids, with everybody. Allah Azza wa Jal said, verse 128, surah number 9, surah Al-Tawbah, the very last verse. Allah Azza wa Jal said, we send you a prophet from amongst you, because we believe as Muslim Muhammad is just a human being. That's verse 144, surah number 3, surah Al-Imran. وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. He's only a messenger. We don't mix God with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انْقَلَبْتُمْ عَلَىٰ أَعْقَابِكُمْ. If he died or being killed or assassinated, you're going to turn back your faces to Islam? وَمَنْ يَنْقَلِبْ عَلَىٰ عَقِبَيْهِ فَلَنْ يَضُرَّ اللَّهَ شَيْئًا وَسَيَجْزِي اللَّهُ الشَّاكِرِينَ. And whoever walk away, who is going to get his consequences? And that's what Abu Bakr told Umar ibn Khattab after he didn't even comprehend. He couldn't fathom that Muhammad passed away. And he said, whoever is going to say Muhammad passed away, I'm going to take off my sword and cut off his head. It was everything. When you know that some beloved person died, what do you do? You feel so sad.
And he didn't fathom that tomorrow morning I would be able to see Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tomorrow morning I would be able to see his face. After 1 hour he cannot walk with us anymore. He cannot eat with us anymore. The biggest musibah. That every death after his death sallallahu alaihi wasallam is nothing. Because we love him more than ourselves. Allah Azza wa Jal put out his description. رسول من أنفسكم وفي رواية من أنفسكم. أنفسكم, that's most precious.